Hey, what's up everyone? Alex here, back with another opening video, the 109th opening video that I'd like to share with you today. It's called the Mimura variation. I think they also call it the Mimura variation too, but here's the sequence. So I think there are openings that are useful and some that are not as useful. This doesn't seem as useful. I mean, as per Brian Rose's definition or recommendation is to try to play openings within ±4. I myself maybe expanded to ±8, but I'm not too sure whether an opening is worth considering if you go all the way to ±12, -12 or 14 in this case, unless you really have a trap planned. So the sequence basically goes with a diagonal opening to Heath, and then basically it goes to the cut over here, more like towards the Heath Tobidashi opening, and then it branches out to C5, which is not a typical response that you get from white diagonal. And black goes over here to E3, and then white jumps in for the best move at F5, and instead of going for D3, which is the best move over here, and with a straight one disc cut, the opening variation goes with C4 with this cut. So to be honest, I'm not too sure where this opening kind of came about, but the follow-up is basically D3 and C2. So you can see Mimura variation 2 opening being triggered over here, and this is actually an official opening being recorded as part of a sequence. So my guess is that this opening could have came from like one of the older players or older generation of sequences that were played in the previous older tournaments when not so much effort is being placed into studying the openings. So maybe the effectiveness of this opening is probably questionable, because for white you basically just jump in, and I would say this opening is probably more black oriented because it's variated by black in a bad way first. So over here you can see white is actually up to +16. I don't really see a very clear-cut follow-up. This is probably what I would probably expect from both players, and this probably slightly favors for white quite a bit, because black doesn't have a clear-cut way of cutting out. Even if black follows this, black regroup. I think white still has a ton of options in terms of trying to gain tempo and trying to regroup into the center. So I don't really see this opening as something very useful for black. But yeah, just for perhaps the academic point of view, just wanted to share this opening, that it is available, Mimura variation 2, within the Reversatile or Zebra database. I'm not too sure whether the playout behind actually becomes tricky for white, but it seems as though it's not as useful for black, at least. So I don't think I would recommend this opening, but it's just for your information that this opening name exists within the database. So thank you very much for joining me in this episode, and I'll see you at the next one. Goodbye.